3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 recipes from slavery. I'm getting this information out of a book called Freedom by Any Means. In the chapter The Breakfast of Generals, and for part A, I'm just going to read the ingredients to the recipes. Forgive me for some of the nasty ingredients, but this is what some people had to eat back in the day. So, this is the food. These are some of the recipes that the slaves had to prepare for the colonists during the Civil War. First, I'm going to give you the ingredients to something called battlefield biscuits. So first you got 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes, 3 to 4 level teaspoons of baking powder, 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 stick of sweet unsalted butter, melted, and 2/3 of a cup of milk. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Boil the potatoes until tender. Peel while they're hot while holding the potatoes under cold running water. Pull the strings out of the potatoes and then mash them with a masher. Sift all the dry ingredients together. Beat the melted butter into the sweet potatoes. Add the dry ingredients a little bit at a time, alternating with the milk. Mix Mix the mixture just enough to moisten it. Shape it into patties. Put the patties onto a cooking sheet. Turn down the oven to 350 degrees. Bake these biscuits for a half an hour to 45 minutes. Cook on top oven shelf so the biscuits don't burn on the bottom. Okay? And that was battlefield biscuits. The second one is contraband cod. 1 pound of cod, 6 medium white potatoes peeled and diced, 1 medium sliced onion, salt and pepper added to taste, 1 egg, flour, and 3/4 of a cup of oil. You boil the pound of cod for about 15 minutes. Pour off the hot water through a strainer. Hold the cod in the strainer under slow cold running water. Work it with your fingers until you get all the bones out. Boil the potatoes until done. Strain and mash them. Dice the medium-sized onion and add the potatoes. Add the cod to the potatoes and onions. Season with the salt and pepper and mix with 1 beaten egg. Form the mixture into balls with 1 big spoon. Heat the oil in the frying pan. Roll the balls in white flour and fry until brown in the hot oil. Serve with tomatoes and peas. Okay. Next is Confederate clam cakes. You need 1 pint of larger sized clams, 1 onion, flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 cups of cooking oil. Chop the clams up really fine. Chop the onion up fine. Mix the flour with the clams and enough onions to make a powder with the consistency of a pancake. Add baking powder to the mixture. Put the cooking oil in a hot skillet using the mixing spoon. Pour the batter into the hot oil like pancakes, browning both sides. Serve with boiled potatoes. Okay, the next one is irresistible egg custard pie. 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter, sugar added to taste, 1 cup of milk, 2 large beaten eggs, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and 1 pie shell. Cream, butter, and sugar, then add the milk and other ingredients. Fold into a pie shell. Bake at 25 to 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. Next, this is really disgusting, but they made this. This is called plantation pig. 8 pig ears, 8 pig snouts, 4 pig's feet split, 3 pounds of pork shoulder, salt, black pepper, sage, or fresh ground cider vinegar. Sage, fresh or ground, cider vinegar, and then ground red pepper. If the pressure cooker is available, cook the ears and snouts together. The pig's feet should be cooked by themselves and the fluid should be saved. If you do not have a pressure cooker, boil the ears and snouts together and then throw away that liquid. The pork shoulder can be put into a pressure cooker or boiled also. Discard this fluid also. Boil the pig's feet by themselves and save the liquid. Drain the ears and snouts through a coriander. Put the meat into a large roaster. Do the same with the pork shoulder. Set the coriander on top of a large pot and pour the feet fluid into the coriander to save that fluid. Set the fluid aside until it's cool. The ears and snout should be squeezed with the hands in the roaster. Put the pork shoulder in small pieces and add the ears and snouts to the roaster. The feet will have to be squeezed in with the hands and all bones. The large and small removed. Combine the meat in the roaster. Take the fluid from the pig's feet that has cooled and started to jelly. Scoop off the top, just the solid white jelly is reached. Warm it up on the stove until it pours freely and add some of that to the meat in the roaster. Add salt, black pepper, sage, and vinegar to taste. At this point, you can remove some of the meat from the roaster and add it to another pan. Add the ground red pepper. That way, you will have two kinds of sauced meat, hot and mild. It will be suggested that the complete mixture be placed in a meatloaf sized aluminum pan and chilled in the refrigerator, but do not put in the freezer. After the meat has become solid, it can be sliced and served. You can now remove the meat from the pans, wrap it in clear wrap, and then the aluminum foil, and then put it in the freezer for later use. Ugh. And that was Plantation Pig. That sounds totally freaking gross. Alright, here we go. Yankee yams. 2 yams, salt and pepper to taste, a little shortening, and a quarter cup of chopped peanuts. Boil the yams until soft, peel and mash them up. Add salt and pepper, oil, and chopped nuts. Stir well in a pan and bake for a few minutes with a little bit of oil on top. The next is really black-eyed peas. 1 pound of smoked neck bones, 1 pound of fresh green black-eyed peas, garlic powder, half a teaspoon of sugar, 1 dry red hot pepper, and a half a pound of fresh okra. Clean the neck bones, removing the bone fragments. Cook for about an hour on medium-low heat. Wash the peas several times. Drain the peas and add to the cooked Drain the peas and add to neck bones. Sprinkle the garlic powder and sugar and toss in the red pepper. Let the peas cook for a half an hour. Put fresh okra on top of the peas and let them cook until they're tender but still firm. The next recipe is called Gateway Gumbo. 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 package of Cajun gumbo vegetables, 1½ cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of tomato juice, 1 stalk of celery, 1 medium onion, 1 Polish sausage chopped, cooked shrimp chopped, cooked chicken chopped, a quarter teaspoon of filet, a quarter teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, salt and pepper to taste, and roux. Melt the butter in a heavy kettle. Add the contents of the vegetable package, the chicken broth. Cover and cook for 15 minutes. Add the tomato juice, celery, onions, sausage, shrimp, chicken, filet, and Cajun seasonings, and then salt and pepper. Cook gently for 10 minutes. The roux, 1 tablespoon of butter and 3 tablespoons of flour. That's how you make the roux. Brown butter and flour together and add to the pot. Serve over rice. And those were a few recipes that were cooked out on the field, in homes, when you had the ability to get those few items, but those were things that people ate to survive. So try a couple of those recipes and let me know. But some of them, as you know, eating all that pork, that might fuck anybody up. But, you know, you eat McDonald's and shit anyway. So give it a shot. Fuck it.